Hi, it's Baz, filmmaker, dad, and the guy behind 20 Minute Gamer. Today I'm revisiting 13 on the PlayStation 2, a cel-shaded spy thriller I originally played on the PC when it came out. Back then, I was heavily into the Bourne Identity and its blend of memory loss, conspiracy, and brutal hand-to-hand combat. 13 promised something similar, but wrapped in a striking comic book aesthetic and paired with action gameplay that looked like it had leapt off the page. I remember loving it at the time, so I thought, let's see if it still holds up in 2025, especially after the remake fumbled the landing harder than a spy falling through a skylight. 13 is a first-person shooter developed by Ubisoft Paris and released in 2003 for the PC, PS2, Xbox and GameCube. It's based on a Belgian graphic novel of the same name, created by John Van Ham and William Vance. The game combines traditional first-person shooter mechanics with a unique cel-shaded visual style designed to mimic its comic book roots. Ubisoft took a bold creative risk with this look during an era dominated by realism, and it totally paid off. The game follows an amnesiac protagonist known only as 13, who wakes up with a key to a bank and a tattoo, and apparently a presidential assassination pinned on him. Cue the spy music and lots of sneaking around with chairs. Story. Despite skipping most cutscenes to focus on gameplay, it's the channel rules, 13 manages to weave in plenty of plot without wresting control away from the player, and I really appreciate that. You start off washed up on a beach, injured and disorientated, with a mysterious flashback of being shot on a boat. A woman helps you, briefly, before attackers storm the location. But just before this happens, she tells you something cryptic about a bank, and then naturally gets gunned down. From there, you head to said bank and things escalate quickly. There's a flashback sequence showing you planting a bomb in the vault, a brilliant narrative device because it makes you both feel in control and confused about your own motives. Then you're arrested, interrogated by the FBI, and before you can blink, the police station is under attack and you're escaping through air vents and corridors. Within 20 minutes, you're questioning your identity, evading capture, uncovering hints of massive conspiracy, and being framed for what looks like a JFK-style presidential assassination. And the kicker? It's all presented in such a dynamic way. Comic book panels fly across the screen, POV shots kick in during flashbacks, and all without stopping you from playing. This is how you do storytelling in a game. No notes. Score, 10 out of 10. Controls. So back in the day, I played this on the PC, so using a controller again on PS2 felt a bit retro in more ways than one. That said, it still holds up surprisingly well. The controls are intuitive, and the slight auto-aim helps counter the limitations of console stick aiming. You shoot with R1, and R2 typically performs some secondary function, like unleashing all bullets in a rapid fire or smacking someone with the butt of the shotgun. There's no clunky interaction system either, you just kind of walk near an item or look at it and you'll pick it up automatically, which is lovely. The only hiccup was accessing my inventory. I couldn't really figure out what the button was for it, but thankfully the game smartly selects the items when needed. This kind of small ergonomic polish makes it easier to focus on the action. The only thing missing was a crouch and snipe option, or maybe a lean mechanic like we see in modern tactical shooters. But hey, for a 2003 game, it was solid. No sneaky complaints here. Score, 8 out of 10. Atmosphere. If I could frame a game's vibe and hang it on the wall, then this would be it. 13 has a razor-sharp art style, a slick jazz fusion soundtrack, and comic book panel overlays that really drive the experience. It's rare that style, sound, story, and everything blends together so seamlessly. There's something magical about sneaking through a bank while distant sirens wail, jazz drums rattle in the background, and a tap-tap-tap comic panel appears above enemies' heads. You don't just play this game, you live inside a graphic novel. The atmosphere is slick, immersive, and distinctive without ever feeling gimmicky. Every footstep feels planted, every shadow feels deliberate. Even minor sound effects like the ocean breeze or echoing gunshots make the world feel totally alive. It's as close as you'll get to a spy noir comic brought to life, and I'm 100% here for it. Score, 8 out of 10. Music and sound. Let's talk about the score firstly. This isn't your typical early 2000s action game soundtrack. There's no new metal here. Instead, we get silky jazz licks and smoky spy movie vibes. It's very Pink Panther meets the Bourne Identity. The music dynamically shifts with the action, giving tension to shootouts and a cool, composed vibe to the quieter sneaking moments. It's just cool, like wearing sunglasses indoors cool.
Incoming
voice acting is also very well done. It's slightly over the top, sure, but perfectly suited to the pulpy espionage setting. You're not going to find Oscar-winning monologues here, but every line hits the right tone.
Look at this photograph. See the impact on the back of the head? Where did the bullet come from, in your opinion? That building there, see? Right in the line of sight.
The environmental sound also deserves praise. From the crack of pistol fire to the distant call of a crow, everything adds to the immersion. Bonus fact, I actually own the soundtrack on vinyl. Yes, it is that good. Score, 8 out of 10. Graphics and style. If 13 were a person, it would be the best dressed guest at the espionage dinner party. The cel-shaded visuals are not just eye-catching, they're part of the story. Gunshots get visual overlays, enemies scream in pop-up panels, and comic book style onomatopoeia float above action scenes like in a graphic novel. Unlike some games where cel-shading feels like a bit of a budget choice, here it feels intentional and immersive. The environments are cleanly designed and varied, and despite being on the PS2, everything still looks crisp and readable. You always know where to go, what to pick up, and who to shoot, or smack with a chair. The use of panel cut-ins, POV close-ups, and stylish transitions gives everything a bit of a cinematic flair. Honestly, you could re-release this today and it would still stand out. There's no need for the disastrous remake. Score, 8 out of 10. Gameplay. Is it fun? Oh yes. Is it deep? Well, maybe not in the first 20 minutes, but it's a hell of a ride. You're thrown into gunfights, escape sequences, stealth segments, and even a few moments of comedy, unintentional or not. Looking at you, Infinite Jazz. There's light platforming and some light puzzle solving too, but the real focus is on action and momentum. I really appreciated how the game lets you choose between lethal and non-lethal force. Smacking someone unconscious with a chair always feels satisfying and kind of hilarious. I'm genuinely not sure if the devs were being ironic, but I couldn't stop picking up chairs and whacking people over the head with them. Every time you think you're out of chairs, then bam, another one magically appears. There's whole corridors just full of chairs.
No, don't shoot!
You're always doing something and it's always fun. The pacing is tight and I found myself genuinely disappointed when my 20-minute timer went off. If that's not a good sign, then I don't know what is. It's dumb, it's hilarious, and honestly, it never gets old. Score, 7 out of 10. Final verdict, is it worth 20 minutes? Absolutely. 13 delivers a knockout opening that grips you from the first minute and barely lets go. It throws you into the middle of a conspiracy thriller with style, swagger, and enough polish to make modern games blush. If Splinter Cell was all slow burns and shadows, 13 will kick the door down with jazz playing in the background and smack you with a comic book. Whether you've played it before or you're coming in fresh, then this is a prime example of how to do an opening right. I had an absolute blast, and that's coming from someone who thought this game would maybe feel dated. It doesn't. It feels like a forgotten classic. Totally give it 20 minutes, and you'll stay for 200. Final score, 8 out of 10. So have you played 13 before? Was that the original or was it the remake? And do you think it deserves the cult following that it has? Who else wishes more games went for the bold comic book style like this? If you enjoyed this review, give it a like and drop a comment below. I'm always up for chatting retro shooters and spy thrillers, and don't forget to subscribe for more 20-minute verdicts. If you're anything like me, you don't have hours to sink into every game, and that's why I test whether a game can hook you in just those first 20 minutes. I'll see you on the next one.